The sound you hear is what some experts claim to be a Bigfoot scream. Recorded in the state of Washington by a group of campers in 1971, it is regarded as the highest quality audio of the creature ever captured.
Hello, welcome to Bigfoot Real Encounters. We're glad to have you stop by. We'd also like to take this time to invite you to share your encounter. You can send your stories to the email bfrealencounters@mail.com, where we will feature your story with all of the respect that it deserves. So send your stories in, bfrealencounters@mail.com. We look forward to hearing from you and your great stories soon. Hello folks, this is Chris, your host to Bigfoot Real Encounters, and welcome back to all of our returning viewers, and welcome to all of our brand new viewers. We have been gaining new viewers all the time. This is a safe place to tell what happened to you in your encounter with the forest giant, the hairy man, Sabe, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever name you're comfortable with or what you have grown up calling them. You will be believed, you will not be ridiculed nor laughed at on this channel. This is a safe place to talk about your incident. We know that most people that tune into these type of channels tune in because they've had something odd happen. Sometimes you've had something frightening or terrifying happen to you. And that's why you seek out these things. There are some people who are just curious and interested in the Bigfoot thing and think that they're just watching a show and it could be better if you did this or that, or oh, this is not a new story. Well, who cares? This is for people who have had encounters that need to tell what happened to them in a safe environment where jerks don't brush them off and tell them it's their imagination or they're full of it or laugh at them because these creatures don't exist. This is a safe place. We're not jerks here. And if you have heard one of these encounters before, that means nothing. That just means you've heard it, but there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of other folks who have not heard it, and it bears repeating. And we will read these encounters until we have other people send in brand new emails of current encounters or past encounters which they have never told anybody. Send them in to bfrealencounters@mail.com. This is a safe place to do so. We will believe you. So today we are going to keep on going state by state. We're going to look here at the state of Colorado, El Paso County, and our very first one here has to do with military. And it reads, while training at Fort Carson, I was on patrol with a Marine Recon aggressor force, aggressing fire batteries in simulated attacks. My patrol attacked the HQ company, and during the withdrawal I was separated from my unit. There was plenty of ambient light, and I could see my unit across the field and hear them calling for me. They took off, and I figured I could cut through a wooded area and intercept them. As I rounded a bend in the trail, a figure stepped out into the trail in front of me. It was about 6.5 feet tall, covered in light brown fur, had large fox-like ears, and large black globe-shaped eyes. The nostrils were slitted and large, without much nasal definition. The body was muscular with a thin waist and easily discernible definition, and the arms were long, hanging below the level of the hips. The creature stepped out into the trail, looking in the opposite direction, and I had stopped stock still the moment I saw it. It turned and saw me, at which it exhibited a startle reflex and immediately crouched down and slowly moved sideways off the trail, watching me the entire time. It knelt behind a bush, at which point it became very hard to see. I realized that I was encountering something few people have the opportunity to see, only a distance of about 10 feet. Wow. Now this one, folks, it does sound like Dogman, with the pointed ears and the slitted nose and stuff. Wow. Slitted nostrils, not a slitted nose, that'd be awful. Not to mention painful. But this is very interesting here. The military folks, I have read and heard of many encounters of the military people being on training maneuvers and encountering these creatures. I don't know, but it kind of makes me think that those who are in the know about what's going on and the existence of these creatures pick certain areas to put military bases where these creatures frequent, just to have the training in the areas where they are to see how their troops react to them. And maybe, how these creatures react to the presence of the troops. But it would be good training, to have your troops out there interacting with the surprise of these creatures coming. It would make for some really good training. Just a thought there. And I didn't see anywhere in here where people were banging on the trees and howling into the night to have this encounter. Just food for thought. And while we're at it, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave some comments down below. Send in your stories to bfrealencounters@mail.com. I will faithfully narrate your stories, your incidences, word for word, other than the cuss words. All right? Be aware also that I did create a Facebook group called Bigfoot Anonymous. It is specifically for people who have had encounters, wishing to reach out to other folks who have had encounters. You can go into and use and create your own private rooms through this group and talk with each other, maybe come up with solutions to current problems that are ongoing. You can work things out and maybe help each other deal with bad dreams or whatever, because as we know, encounters with the Bigfoot, or in this case possibly a Dogman, have really most of the time never been good. Rarely been good. There are some good ones, but usually not. PTSD usually follows. So go ahead and look at Bigfoot Anonymous. Well, you can't look at it. You can join it, and then you can see what goes on there. It is private. What happens on Bigfoot Anonymous stays there. I'm not going to use it for source material for the YouTube channel. So let's take a look, see if we have some other incidents here we can read. And here we have one, Jackson County, Colorado, from July of 1926. This one is from a long time ago. All right. This one says, I'm 66 years old, and here's a story that happened to my dad in 1926. My father was an avid hunter and fisherman. He always had binoculars with him as he liked to look at everything. He was up around Walden, Colorado, and saw what he thought were 2 bears stalking an elk. I don't know if the elk was part of a herd or was cut out and was alone. Evidently, it did not know it was being stalked. Dad said he was a long way off. He was on one side of the mountain, and this was happening across a valley on the side of another mountain in a partly open area. There's a heavy timber in that part of this area. When he got out his binoculars and started watching, he still thought they were two bears until they started walking. He said they were a brown color and quite large when they stood up and started walking on two legs. He watched them for about 5 minutes until they got into some heavy timber. They did not stalk real close together. They had the elk in the middle. He said they were excellent stalkers and would even hide behind a tree for a while. He said he didn't know if they killed the elk or not, but thought they probably did. He was sure they were carnivores or they wouldn't have been stalking in this manner. The incident took place in the late afternoon. There were very few people living in the area, but who knows? There may still be some of the critters up there. Glad I've never run into the one the way you did. Yeah, I guess I would be glad I didn't run into any of those also. A story from way back in 1926. I really do love to hear about these really old ones, because back then, folks, they didn't have the internet, of course, and the stories of Bigfoot going around were really, not widely known. And so, all right, let's take a look at another one here in Larimer County, Colorado, back in August 1990. This one reads, "Hello. My son, his wife, a friend, and I saw a Sasquatch on August 10th or 11th on a Sunday of 1990, 11 a.m. on a bright sunny day in Larimer County, Roosevelt National Forest, about 25 miles northeast of Fort Collins. I suppose the nearest highway would be Highway 34 that goes through Loveland, about 20 miles away. We had bought a small piece of property and were building a bridge across Buckhorn Creek. We took a break and my son was scanning a mountain to the west of us with his binoculars when he saw it. My daughter-in-law grabbed the binoculars and looked, and she said, "It's chasing some deer." Then, "My God, Mom, it's got knees." She said it ran into a group of pine trees. I got my binoculars, and we stood quietly and waited. Several minutes later, it leaped out from the trees and went running across the face of the mountain. I swear that thing could run like the wind, and this was rugged terrain, but it had a very strange, distinctive gait. The friend that was with us saw it without binoculars. I guarantee you it was not a fake. There is absolutely no possibility that it could have been. No human could run that fast, especially across that rugged mountain, and it was at least 7 feet tall. What is puzzling is that it didn't seem to fit with things I have read about them. This one was pitch black, not reddish brown, and it was seen in bright daylight in the middle of the day. It was chasing deer, which I think would rule out it being a vegetarian. Another thing I thought really interesting was that a huge bird, maybe a vulture of some kind, kept circling around where the thing was, like maybe it was waiting for it to make a kill. My son insisted that it had a tuft of snow-white hair on its head. We didn't report this sighting because we didn't think anybody would believe us. Plus, we didn't want some gun-happy nuts trying to hunt it down. My husband and I have been living out here ever since that time, and we've been staring at that mountain for years, but we've never seen another one. Nevertheless, I feel truly blessed. Here's another one with some different type of details added to it that we've not heard before, like the tuft of snow-white hair on it, and a large bird circling overhead. Maybe another cryptid, maybe a thunderbird or some that type of thing like that. Wow, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? There are just all kinds of different scenarios of people when they have encounters with these things. just a whole variety of different activities and such, which is why I like to look into them. And this just lends to the credibility of each encounter or all the different circumstances. It's wonderful to read these stories. And she mentioned something about it being vegetarian. And of all the incidents and television documentaries and such, it was always surmised that they had been omnivores. I don't know where she got the idea of them being veggies, but there have been many encounters and stories of them stealing a hunter's kill once they shot it. And I remember some of the documentaries in the 1970s where they had found scat that was evidently pretty sure that it was from a Sasquatch, and they examined it and found rodents and evidence of rodents and other small critters and stuff in there. So the idea that they could be vegetarians is something I've never heard of before, but apparently this person has. And if this is your encounter and you are coming across me narrating it, I would like to hear from you. Maybe you have other details you'd like to share. Maybe you'd like to share it yourself. That would be a possibility. Anyways, go ahead and reach out to me at bfrealencounters@mail.com, or anybody else. You've had an encounter? I know you have. Go ahead. It's okay. You can tell us. You will be believed. The details that you're sitting on need to make the light of day. So send them in. It's okay. No matter how significant or insignificant you think it might be, it's okay. We need to hear it and you need to say it. So get it into us. Check out Bigfoot Anonymous on Facebook. Make some comments in the comment section below. We're ready for it. It's the best time in history ever to share your stories. And remember, we still got some nice weather left. And while you're out there hiking, fishing, picnicking, or even camping, keep an eye on the tree line to see what's keeping an eye on you. We'll see you in the next one. Once again, another great story. Thanks for tuning in. Please share your encounter. Email us, bfrealencounters@mail.com. Your story is very important. We will treat it with the respect that it deserves. Also, be sure to smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Thanks once again. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Watch out for our next video. Maybe we'll feature yours. Have a great day.